Welcome back to NPL New South Wales. Today we are at Bopendetta Park in the heart of Western Sydney. We've got Manly United in the blue facing off against Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the gold and green. Today's set to be a blockbuster match. Manly sitting up in 7th place, and then we have Mount Druitt Town Rangers who are in second last place. There's been no shortage of goals from Manly lately, and there's been no shortage of goals in Mount Druitt games lately. Today we have Mount Druitt in the green and gold, Manly in the famous navy and red. It's going to be a blockbuster match. In the last 5 matches, Manly in the first half have only scored 1 and they've conceded 4. Similar stats go for Mount Druitt, except they've scored 1 in the first half of the last 5 matches and they've conceded 8. Mount Druitt on your left of screen and Manly will be on the right of your screen. Merely moments away from kickoff here. Bound to be a very interesting match. Manly have no problem scoring goals, and truth be told, Mount Druitt are having a bit of a problem keeping them out. Manly recording multiple wins with 5 goals this season. A 5-0 win over the Mariners, a 5-0 win over Mount Druitt earlier this season, a 6-0 win, and also a 5-2 win over Olympic, the 6-0 win coming over Wollongong Wolves. In saying that, they've also lost 6-0, which was last week to Sydney, with a McAllister masterclass, actually. They lost 3-0 to Marconi and Sutherland as well. Bound for a great game today. Joey Gibbs up front for Mount Druitt, one of the all-time NPL strikers. And you're probably noticing, I'm no Fabrizio Romano, to be honest. I am Italian. I'm no Fabrizio Romano. But you're probably noticing there's a famous Brazilian that's not on the field today for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And I can confirm, I'm not here to start gossip, but I can confirm my sources have told me Pedrinho no longer playing for Mount Druitt Town Rangers, which is a very interesting development. Mount Druitt with the kick-off and in turn winning the throw-in down the line, Rankin taking it. Manly winning the header and winning the loose ball as well. About to go on the counter-attack, but it is intercepted by Mount Druitt and they restart again. Out to Sam Power, back in as Filigoy, and down the line he goes, ball in the air. Bit of ping pong here. Manly settle, get the ball back to the goalkeeper, and here they go again. Manly have been one of the most interesting teams to watch this year, in my opinion. There's not many footballing sides you'll watch around the world where in 4 out of the 4 games so far this season, they've scored 5. And then in 3 other games, they've conceded upwards of 3. It's incredible, simply incredible. You never know what you're going to get with Manly. Mount Druitt, coming up from NPL 2 last year, definitely adjusting to NPL 1 life, but they're improving week on week, in my opinion. Manly with the throw-in down here on the halfway line. They go long straight into number 11. Tap from Mount Druitt, giving away the foul. He is a man mountain if I've ever seen one. I believe a MacArthur Jr. as well. Darcy Burgess over the ball here, former Olympic attacking midfielder. In-swinger, out-swinger. I think it's going to be an in-swinger. About 2 metres off the byline. Gets the ball near post. Mount Druitt clear their lines thanks to Rankin. Out to the halfway line it goes. Well cleared by the goalkeeper to the halfway line. Manly looking to get their foot into the game, and they're doing so very well down the right-hand side here. They win the throw-in after a hefty challenge from Sam Power. Number 2 here for Manly, O'Driscoll. He's actually had quite the footballing career. He's played in multiple countries. His transfer market profile says he played at the Man City and Southampton juniors. Also played in Ireland. Played for Mansfield Town in England. Played in New Zealand for Christchurch, and he's also played for Olympic and Altona in other NPL leagues here in Australia. Quite the career he's had so far. Manly knocking it around out the back, looking to keep possession. Awak gets control of the ball and is dispossessed promptly. Rankin's going to be a very busy man tonight. Manly definitely like to come down this left-hand side, and Burgess gets around him and is making his way towards goal. He's very dangerous, Darcy Burgess. Anyone who watches NPL is very well aware of his prowess. Great ball into the box near the penalty spot, but no one from Manly on the end of it. Mount Druitt looking to break here. Alan Aganovich on the ball, looking to settle the Manly side. Looks like Mount Druitt are playing a 4-4-2, at least defensively set up. Similar, it looks like Manly are playing somewhat of a 4-4-2, with their fullbacks having the freedom to get up the pitch, and the 2 6s/2 pivots happy to get on the ball at any given moment. There's Chipman, number 28. Ganovich on the ball once again. There's Mount Druitt throw in on the halfway line. How good's Popondetta Park at sunset? Wow, this is incredible. Home of the brave, they say. I couldn't agree more. Sandpower about to take the throw in. Represented Philippines at under 20s level. One of the few footballers here who does have international footballing experience. Awak with the ball across the face of goal. Driscoll doesn't deal with it. It's up in the air. Mount Druitt on the cutback. Oh, that was hit with some serious venom. Unlucky not to score there. Great ball into the box. Great initial ball into the box, I should say. Manly failing to clear their lines. Levi Kay, what a great goalkeeper he's been as well. Some of those score lines this season do not do justice to some of the saves he makes in game. Once again, those Manly pivots picking up the ball at any given moment and looking to make things happen. Often trying to find Lucas Meek with his runs down into the channels. Yet to find him. Ball across field looking for Awak. It's going to run very deep. In fact, it's going to run out for a goal kick. You can say what you want about teams like Mount Druitt and Manly who are on the bottom half of the table, but in my experience of watching football, these are the most entertaining games. They're teams with nothing to lose, and they're happy to explore different options. And they don't want to play it as safe, you know? They want to get forward as soon as possible. That's the type of football I love to watch. O'Driscoll on the ball. Manly happy to be in possession from the back here. Down the line they go once again, looking for Lucas Meek up front, number 11 for Manly United. Darcy Burgess on the ball. Filigoy intercepting. He's been great for Mount Druitt this year. Mount Druitt shifting it from left to right. Rankin into Awak, who's been very active so far today. We're going to get an early ball into the box. Instead, he cuts in onto his left foot. Mount Druitt looking very dangerous here. Ball back to Awak. Could be too deep. Chips it into the back post. Manly clear their lines. One back by Mount Druitt in very good position. Sam Powell looking to get an early ball into the box on his left foot. He does so. He drops from Mount Druitt. Over the top. Oh, very interesting. No one's coming to claim the ball, and Manly finally get rid of their lines. Thanks to Jesse Perez. Mount Druitt with the throw-in. Mount Druitt with another throw-in. Welcome to NPL football. You get around 20 to 30 throw-ins today. Arguments for a foul being made. Manly win the ball. And now there is a foul against Manly. Harry McCarthy winning that one for Manly. And they're in no rush to take it at all. Personal opinion as the commentator, but also as an NPL watcher, it'd be very interesting to see if Mount Druitt would collab with local hip-hop and sporting movements. There's been so much happening in Mount Druitt over the past 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 years. I think there's a lot of potential there for Mount Druitt to do some really cool things, to get a really high crowd engagement and fan base. I think going outside of football with explorations around hip-hop and even other sporting codes would be very cool to see. Even if it's something as simple as they dropped a jersey and the people that were modelling it were local hip-hop artists. We all know the local hip-hop boom of Mount Druitt over the past 5 years, the unprecedented. No one saw that coming, and It's been one of the biggest movements in Australian culture for a long time. That's just my personal opinion, and I think it'd be very cool to see. Now, as for table position today, I should correct myself. At the start of the video, I said Manly were in 7th place. They're actually in 10th, but they are 3 points off Sydney in 7th, and Sydney do have a game in hand. They are on 24 points, and they're actually, they've scored 28 and conceded 24 this year. So they've only scored 4 less than Marconi, who sits second on the table, and they've actually conceded 24, which is a very good statistic for them, considering Apia Leichhardt, who sit fairly higher on the table in both points and position, have conceded more goals than themselves. Very hard team to read. 1 week they'll concede 6, and then the next 3 weeks they'll have 3-0 or draws. Very interesting team. Niski from Mount Druitt settling it down. Mount Druitt looking to get a foothold in the game. No team yet really to assert dominance. It's been very back and forth. Philly going on the ball. Back to Niski. Manly slowly pressing. Out to the halfway line it comes. Jasper Chipman, a very busy man so far. Lots of touches on the ball. Out to O'Driscoll. Comes down to O'Donoghue. Keeps it in. Into no man's land. Tap, tap. Settles it down. Gives the ball to Rankin. Out to Niski. And Mount Druitt flush it out once again. Mount Druitt with a lot to play for today. They're on 9 points and sit second from bottom. Only Mariners sit below them, and they're 4 points off the team above them, which is Western Sydney Wanderers Youth. Ball down the line to Awak. Good foot race there. O'Donoghue clearing his lines. O'Donoghue, if I'm not mistaken, and if memory serves me correctly, a former Western Sydney Wanderers junior. Awak getting himself into a bit of mischief there. And he comes out on top. 1v4. Does not bother him. Burgess on the ball. Tap, tap. Coming across here. He's a big boy. That's all I'll say there. He's a big boy, man. These things happen. Sam Power very busy so far for Mount Druitt down there on the left side. Ball into the box. It's a bit of a worm burner. It's very low. Tap up for the challenge. Ball falls to Burgess. 2 Manly players in front of him. 4 Mount Druitt players in front of him. He cuts on the inside. Takes Rankin on. And a beautiful ball in behind into Meek. It might run a bit too deep. Looking for options. He has 3 Manly players in front of him. Burgess on the cutback. Takes the shot on. It's over the bar. Be lovely to see an Eric Cantona type of chip into the back post there, wouldn't it? Be a great start to the game, that. Tap on the ball here. Straight down the line. It's a bit of back and forth today so far. It's a bit of back and forth. It's just waiting for someone to take a bit more control of the game. O'Donoghue getting around. Ball falls to Burgess into O'Donoghue, who's got a fair bit of paddock in front of him. It's very hard to find such real estate in Sydney nowadays. And Mount Druitt clear. It is a Manly corner. I'd say that's one of the, besides the Mount Druitt opportunity earlier, I'd say that's Manly's best opportunity so far. Great tracking back from Rankin there. O'Donoghue on the ball. Left-footed on the corner, so it will be an outswinger, not an in-swinger. Unless he goes for a Travella, which would be absolutely absurd. No, he's going to go for the in-swinger. Here we go. Ball into the box. Great ball into the box. Great area. O'Driscoll. Niski saves. Catches and releases as well. Mount Druitt on the counter-attack. Oh, well cleared. Bilal Belkadi dealing with the danger there very well. Very dangerous position Mount Druitt found themselves in. Thomas Lopez so far up front for Mount Druitt has been a very busy man, chasing a lot of loose balls. It's a very thankless job striker for the most part, especially in NPL New South Wales. Loose ball into the midfield there. Sfiligoy gets rid of it. That's a high ball. This is an incredible view. I can't lie to you. This is the best view I think I've ever had in an NPL game. Driscoll on the ball. Chipman on it. Looking for options. It's going to fall to Tep. Good luck trying to get a ball over the top of his head. Chipman once again. He's realised he can't get it over the top, so he may as well play feet. Manly breaking down the right-hand side now. 1v1 opportunity. Takes his defender on. And it's cleared by Tep. On the volley. Oh! Don't mind if you do. Personally, in Sunday League, I would have taken a touch there, let it sit up a bit, and then hit the volley. That's just me. There's a reason I don't play for Manly United in NPL 1. Manly really starting to work their way into the game today. Most Manly games, look, I'll be honest with you, there's either 2 goals in the whole game or there's about 6 to 10. And I'm looking for the latter today, if I'm being honest with you. O'Driscoll dealing with it very well. Bit of that experience there. Burgess on the ball. He's got a great touch. Great attacking midfielder. Tep clearing his lines once again. Mount Druitt struggling to get a bit of possession on the ball today. Manly breaking down the left. Very dangerously. No one going to the man. Can cut on the inside. Ball into the box. And Sampow gets his body in front of it. That opportunity came out of nowhere. Haven't really seen much of Joey Gibbs so far today, if I'm being honest with you. When I first started to get at the cognizant age of around 12, 14, Wanderers were coming up, he was one of my favourite players. And he made his way to Jets, and then I believe he made his way to multiple other countries. Iceland being one of them. I wonder what that's like to live in. And also, I believe maybe China or Chinese Taipei. Rankin with a great interception there. Down the line he goes into Lopez. Finally getting some possession on the ball. We all know what he's capable of. Very intricate dribbler. Rankin getting himself into a bit of trouble there. Masarola breaks out of the challenge from the 2 Manly defenders. Into open space he goes. He keeps on driving. Finds the ball down to the left-hand side. Cuts on the inside to the back post. Ooh. It's a decent little opportunity there. I thought he was going to cut on the inside and go for that far post himself, but he looked for the cross. Caleb Jackson-Brown, I believe. And yeah, Joey Gibbs. Back to what I was saying before. He actually also played in Belgium for Olympic. Oh, forgive me for my pronunciation. Charleroi. And yeah, he's played for Wanderers, Blacktown, Jets, Iceland. He's played everywhere. He's played absolutely everywhere. He's also played for Manly. One of the few players on the pitch today who's played for both clubs. Pretty sure in distance, in NPL New South Wales 1, Manly versus Mountie would be one of the top distance derbies. Ball still in somehow, and Manly break away beautifully. That was gorgeous. And they got Darcy Burgess free in the middle, and this is dangerous for Mount Druitt. Away they break. He's got O'Donoghue on the left, and he's got 3 Manly players to his right. He finds O'Donoghue on the left. He's going to take a first-time ball into the box. And it's cleared for a throw-in. You can't let Darcy Burgess have that much space in the middle of the park, I'll tell you that much. O'Donoghue finding himself with a few opportunities. As I mentioned earlier in the game, Manly play with those 2 pivots, which means their fullbacks are given a lot more space to move up the field. Bit of a miscommunication there from Mount Druitt, but it doesn't mean anything so far. Ball is safe. Joey Gibbs on the ball. And the foul is awarded for the earlier challenge. Tep is huge. I can't get over it. I didn't know he was that big. I'll take him at Blacks and Redbacks. Niski on the ball here. He's had quite the busy season. But as a goalkeeper, I'm sure there's nothing more you'd ask for than to be busy. Better than watching Neuer at the Club World Cup against Auckland, doing stretches on halfway. Sampow clears. Manly finding themselves on the ball. A beautiful run through the middle here. He's just beaten 4 or 5 defenders. Oh, great tackle. Finds himself on the ball again. Manly looking for options. He's going to take it from 40 yards. Filigoy gets his body in front of it. That was a great hit. Dare I say, that was on its way. That was trouble in Niski if it went past Filigoy, but it didn't. He was doing his job. He's trying to turn in now 3 Mount Druitt midfielders. Lets him know he wasn't happy about it. Referee says play on. That's the way I like to see football played. That's NPL for you. Awak on the ball. Beautiful stuff. Mount Druitt maintaining a bit more possession now. Rankin on the ball there. Caleb Jackson-Brown flushing it out to Sam Power. Sam Power on the left foot, looking to get an in-swinger into the box over Joey Gibbs. Forced to Awak at the back post. He's got options. Only one defender onto him. Be very interesting to see if he turns in the inside here. Flushes it out to Rankin. He's looking to get a ball into the box. You can tell by his body language. Joey Gibbs looking for the 1-2. O'Driscoll there to clear. And Manly looking to break. Shipman on the ball. Miscommunication there from Manly. And Mount Druitt maintain possession. Starting to get a bit more comfortable on the ball now, Mount Druitt. Starting to really work their way into this game. And it's more looking likely that Manly are looking for counter-attacks more than anything here. Just knocking the ball around. There's a runner down the left-hand side, and he's going to look for him. Great vision from myself, if I dare say so. Manly deal with the danger, and up the field they go. It's been a busy night so far for Lucas Meek up front for Manly. A lot of running, a lot of chasing loose balls. Manly seem to be very content to let Mount Druitt have possession out from the back. As soon as it makes its way into that midfield areas, they are very much hounding them. Caleb Jackson-Brown with a very interesting ball out there. Didn't have too much pressure on him, but I don't think that was communicated to him. Lopez on the ball, great touch. Rankin calling for a throw-in. Darcy Burgess on the ball. Bilal Belkadi on the ball. Finds O'Donoghue, the Manly left back. O'Driscoll finds himself on the ball. Manly going to flush it out, try and go from left to right now. See if there's any opportunities. No, my bad. They've gone back. Now they're back on the left. As mentioned earlier, Mount Druitt setting up with that 4-4-2. Just trying to keep a decent block. Not let Manly pass through them. Great ball over the top just quietly. Is ruled offside, but great ball over the top. Over the centre-back's head, but onto the attacker's foot. And not far enough so that the fullback could intercept it. And that, I believe, is Rankin down at the moment, and he does have an issue. Been quite the game so far. Very back and forth. That's why we love NPL football. It's very raw, it's very energetic, it's very passionate. It's been a very good game so far. Wouldn't mind seeing a bicycle kick, though. I wouldn't mind seeing a bicycle kick. Or a Rabona. Rankin receiving medical attention. And yeah, something I mentioned at the start of the game, something I probably want to mention again. I can't reveal my sources. I am Italian, but I'm not a gossip man. But I will say I was told by a very reputable source that Pedrinho has left. And that makes for very interesting viewing. For any of you who have watched Mount Druitt before, for any of the Manly United or neutral fans who haven't watched Mount Druitt before, their signature player, Pedrinho, Brazilian midfielder, one of those type of players where so good on the ball, kind of depends on the system you want to play him in. Playing a 6 all the way up to your 9. Honestly, you could chuck him anywhere. You could probably chuck him in goals, to be honest. And yeah, apparently he's left. He's now, to give you a bit of a resume or CV of Pedrinho, if you will, played for various clubs all around the world. He's probably played for around 30. I know a few in Sunday League and Penrith that have probably ticked off the same amount of clubs. But he has played in Brazil, Malta, Georgia, Indonesia, and also in Penrith, Australia. So shout out to Pedrinho, quite the footballer. I believe he has returned to Indonesia. And yeah, Mount Druitt, look, that's not a loss you want to have at this point in the season. These things happen. I believe the transfer market is opening up very soon. Great ball into Lopez. Great touch. And Mount Druitt break. 4v4 here. Ball out to the left. 2 Mount Druitt runners in front. Joey Gibbs on the penalty spot. Can they get the ball to him? It's going to find its way to the back post. Oh, and it's in. It's found its way in. Lovely goal. That is an incredible goal. And the celebration to match it. That's a cross that's ended up in the back of the net, but if he's intended that, that is incredible. Mount Druitt lead 1-0. As mentioned earlier, Manly do like to lead goals in the first half. Mount Druitt, they don't tend to score them. 1 goal in their last 5 games in the first half, and now they got a second. That was an incredible goal. Lachlan Vasilo, or Vasulu. Apologies on the pronunciation. It's my second game commentating, if I'm being honest with you, but what a strike that was. If I was him, I'm definitely claiming it was never a cross. I think we're going to see the game open up a bit more now. That was against the run of play. Mount Druitt, they've had some good spells of possession, but they haven't had many opportunities. There was one falling to Awak earlier. None have fallen to Joey Gibbs so far or Lopez. There we go. Great goal. Great goal. Philly getting rid of it. Manly will have the throw in on the halfway line. Rankin has gone down once again. Back to the Pedrinho chat. I wonder who Mount Druitt are going to replace him with, or if they're going to try and work this out. You often see in football, actually, when teams lose their best players, a lot of people think, this is going to be a massive void. There's going to be a massive issue, but the team often comes together because they often rely on that best player to make things happen. But now they're no longer relying on them, and they've got to pick up that work rate themselves and that bit of spark and magic. I think Mount Druitt can do that. I definitely think they can do that. Today they're showing a lot more promise than I've seen in games previous this season. And they're showing a lot more defensive stability. There's been multiple opportunities where Manly have broken down the left-hand side just in front of my commentator's box here, and they've come across very promptly, dealt with any threat into the box. There's only been maybe 1 or 2 Manly opportunities on the edge of the box that they haven't been able to shut down. And Rankin has been substituted off. Alexander Trenosky has made his way onto the field and is playing right fullback. Apologies if I'm getting his name wrong to him and his family. Once again, another Mount Druitt throw-in. I commentated my first game last week, and I'm pretty sure there was around 40 throw-ins, so I'm very interested to see if I get more or less today. I think we're on track for less. Foul on Manly there via Lopez from Mount Druitt. Manly looking to flush the ball out now into O'Driscoll. Probably the one player from Manly who has the very similar CV to Pedrinho, as mentioned before. Man City and Southampton youth product. Be very interesting to see actually who he played with. Even before all the money, Man City had some great youth talent. Southampton known to produce some incredible footballers. Theo Walcott, Gareth Bale, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Mount Druitt looking to break down the left-hand side here. Sam Power been very active so far, very active. There's a reason he's played for the Philippines at an international level, albeit under 20s, but nonetheless. You don't earn those caps without a fair bit of passion and fire in your belly. Manly looking to maintain a bit of possession after conceding the first goal of the game. I'd love to see more goals this game. I really would. We've got second last versus 10th. I'd love to see these teams have a crack and go forward as much as possible. O'Donoghue from Manly, the left fullback, number 3. He's finding himself with a lot of space. Mount Druitt making it very compact. Ball often finding itself on the right-hand side, so O'Donoghue often finds himself with a bit of space down the left here. Very interesting to see if he gets on the score sheet today. O'Driscoll in possession. Burgess just flushing it out. Great footballer. Played with some incredible footballers at Sydney Olympic last year, who are just in front of Manly on the table, if I'm correct. So Manly will be looking to get a result to jump Sydney FC as well, who dealt a hefty loss to RPR last night, but also beat Manly last week 6-0, thanks to McAllister. While they scored 4 or 5, O'Driscoll battling for it there. Love to see that. Bit more of that today. Welcome to Mount Druitt. There's fire in the belly out here. It's the name of the game. Great challenge. Ball finds Awak. Turns on the inside into a bit of trouble. He flushes it out to Trzajanowski. Apologies once again if I'm getting that wrong. Now Druitt playing it through the middle. Joey Gibbs on the turn. That's lovely. Out to the left-hand side. Can they get a ball into the box? They've got 3 men in the box against Manly's 4. Sampow on the ball. Once again on his left peg. The ball's not out just yet. Mount Druitt keeping it in. And here's Mount Druitt throwing. Sampow loves to get a good ball into the box. Probably seen 4 or 5 crosses already today. Loves to see a bit more in the air, though. Love to see a few more aerial challenges. We know Awak can get on the end of them. We know Joey Gibbs can get on the end of anything that's delivered into the box. Caleb Jackson-Brown, number 15 from Mount Druitt. Very busy man today. Very busy man in the midfield. Very active. It'd be very interesting, actually, if you put a monitor on some of the NPL players' ankles to see how far they actually run in a game. Awak flushing it out to Trzajanowski. Could have been quite the start to the game today. Oh, lovely little Ronaldo chop into Darcy Burgess' direction there. Manly win the ball back, and on the counter they come. As I mentioned earlier, Manly's opportunity is looking likely to come from a counter. Mount Druitt win the ball back in a great position. Ball into the back post in the air. Manly deal with it for now. And they're going to clear their lines. Chipman on the ball. Great tackle there from Mustrola. Ball in behind to Joey Gibbs. Finds himself with a bit of paddock down the left-hand side here for Mount Druitt. Ball into the back post. Bit too far for Awak. It's going to be a foot race here. O'Donoghue and Awak both going to ground. Welcome to Mount Druitt. We love that. Bit of physicality. Bit of physicality. This is Popondetta Park. This isn't the SCG. Chipman on the ball once again. Manly starting to settle a bit more after conceding the first goal of the game. Apologies if you can hear lots of noises behind me. The game behind the commentator's shed so far is the top of the Blacktown Prems competition. It's 1v2. They're separated on goal difference, and if I stand, maybe I stand corrected, but it's currently 1-1 into the 70th minute. Nonetheless, ball in behind. He is offside. So yes, the sound you can hear coming from around the commentator's mic, that is a local Prems game getting very fiery. The Blacktown Prems comp is one of the best local Prems comps in the world. That's just my opinion. Sfiligoy going to play out from the back. Quite the passing range he's got on him, as we see there. Very accurate. Sampow on the ball. Back to Sfiligoy. Sun has finally set, and we are officially at a night-tight game. Niski on the ball in no rush. It'd be incredible to see Mount Druitt get another win. They've lost their last 5 in the row, and they've actually only got 1 draw in their last 10. Last week they did go to Rockdale Illingdon. They did lose 4-0. I don't blame them for that, that's for sure. Rockdale quite the footballing side. But yeah, that run of form is not good. They started the season very promisingly, and then they had a very, very quick drop in form, and they've, in my opinion, they've improved. I'd say week 1 to 5 they were doing really well, and then there was a bit of a drop-off. Now we're finding ourselves around 10 to 15 rounds later, and they're starting to get a bit more of a foothold. And as you can see today, they're doing very well. However, it is hard to tell because you never know what you're going to get with Manly United. I still can't get over the fact they've scored 5 goals in 4 games this year, and they sit in 10th place, and they've only conceded 24 goals, and they've only scored 28. Mount Druitt making their way down the left-hand side. Fair few issues caused for Manly down there, and likewise goes on the vice versa. Mount Druitt having a fair few issues defending Manly down the left-hand side here. Ball block, Chipman wins the header. Hefty challenge coming in. And Manly looking to break once again. That counter-attack looking the most likely option. They cannot seem to find Meek tonight. The number 11 for Manly, the number 9 if you will, but number 11 on his back. Awak is arguably pulled down, and referee says no. Referee says no, no penalty. Very interesting decision. Going to have to do a lot more to earn a penalty out here at Popondetta Park, I tell you that much. Burgess on the ball, making his way infield. You cannot let him get too far infield because he will cause you issues. Beautiful ball in between the lines there. That is incredible. Donahue finds himself with a fair bit of paddock. Once again, a bit of real estate out here on the left-hand side. Ball into the box. Tap. Deals with it well. And Awak on the ball. First time since his penalty was denied. Would have been very interesting to see a penalty. Very hefty challenge. Referee says no foul play on. I can't lie to you guys. I heard all of that challenge. Very interesting. And it is a Mount Druitt goal kick. They've dealt with that very well. Niski arguing the penalty with the referee right now. It'll be very interesting to watch that one back. Being here live at the game, we only get one option to look at it. And to be honest, I'm talking the whole time. I'm not really focusing, but in real time, very interesting decision to call it no penalty. Awak not happy about it at all. And the game's starting to get a bit fiery. Welcome to Mount Druitt. A few fouls coming in now. Manly with a good opportunity to get the ball into the mixer. Mount Druitt seemingly doing very well without Pedrinho today. Midfield's not having too many issues, which is really good signs. For a team in their position on the table, to lose your best player in those circumstances is never good. But nonetheless, Manly looking to get a good ball into the box here. They've got a fair few men forward. Ball into the back post. Sfiligoy deals with it. Mount Druitt looking to clear their lines. Awak plays down the line and off Mount Druitt go. He's got to go himself here. Great strength. Jackson Brown. Great ball across. It is intercepted by Manly. Well done. And we're starting to go end to end here. You don't realise until you're actually at the game how fast-paced these players play at. It's an incredibly fast-paced environment out there. The ball is pinging back and forth. I play for Blacks and Redbacks, and I can tell you I've never, ever even come close to playing in a game this high intensity. Niski clearing his line. Once again, if you can hear the noise behind me, that is the local Blacktown Prems comp 1v2. Starting to get a bit fiery out there. Good luck to both teams participating in that game behind us. Mount Druitt midfield doing just fine. Burgess pulling Mustrola down. Not a problem. Gibbs finds himself on the ball, and that's always dangerous for Manly because he's going to find Awak down the right-hand side. Cuts on the inside. On the left foot. Oh, off the crossbar. My gosh, that looked like it was going over, and before you knew it, it just dipped at the last second. That was lovely to watch in real time. Ball into the back post. It's floated in. Waiting for someone to get on the end of it. I haven't done justice there for Awak's attempt. I honestly thought that was well over the crossbar. That was an incredible attempt at goal. Cut on the inside off his right-hand foot onto his left foot. If that went in, I wouldn't have known what to say. That caught me very much by surprise. Joey Gibbs, when he gets on the ball for Mount Druitt here in the midfield, for those watching along at home, number 9. He does play up front, but he likes to drop in. A lot of things seem to happen when that happens. Sam Powell looking to knock it past Belcardi, but he fails to do so. Belcardi, if we were counting stats today, he'd probably have a fair few interceptions to his name. He's doing a good job out there. Mount Druitt win the throw-in here at the halfway line, just below the commentator's box. Game's starting to slow down as we get to the end of the first half. Chudnovsky's done a great job. You wouldn't have known he was substituted into this game so far. He came on for Rankin and he hasn't missed a beat. He's done a very good job at right fullback so far. O'Driscoll on the ball, flushing it out. Chipman on the ball, finding O'Donoghue and Burgess. I've said those three names a lot today. Found themselves with a lot of possession for Manly. Aganovich on the ball now, looking for O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll looking to drive forward, make something happen for Manly at the end of this first half. Trzynowski looking to charge down O'Donoghue there, but the strength prevails, stays on the ball. Manly have possession. Burgess down the left-hand side, cuts on the inside. Back out to Burgess. Beautiful little 1-2. Ball across goal. It's in no man's land. Forces Filigoy. Arguments for a foul there, and the referee blows for a foul. He's got one in the rib cage. Was it intentional? I have no idea. It all happened in the blink of an eye. I don't think it was, though. As mentioned earlier, first half statistics for both teams in the last 5 games. So Manly have scored once in the first half of their last 5 games, and they've conceded 4. Mount Druitt have scored once in the first half of their last 5 games, and they have conceded a staggering 8. So already a massive improvement for Mount Druitt today. Incredible improvement. I doubt they'll concede 8 before we go into the half here today. Lopez on the ball, once again taking it down in his chest. Gibbs looking to beat it to the byline, and he does so very well. Finds Awak, who's been very active on the right-hand side. He's going to switch over to the other half in the second half, and I'm going to miss him because he's been a great footballer to watch so up close today. Likewise with Burgess, he'll be on the other side of the football field in the second half. And he's been very active. Belcardi. One of those footballers you watch, whenever I've watched him before, very much kind of, you watch him, or if you watch the game, you kind of miss him, but if you watch him, you kind of watch the game. Beautiful ball in behind by O'Driscoll, and that's going to drop. Arguments for a foul, and it's blown towards Mount Druitt. That could have gone either way. Sampow getting his body in front. Tap telling the Mount Druitt midfielders and fullbacks, get up, get up. Same with Niski. Looking to get a second goal before the end of this half. I'd love to see it purely from a spectator standpoint, whichever team it goes to. It's been a great game so far, very entertaining. Both teams just really want to go forward at any given moment, and I love that. Not too married to their own play styles, rather married to the opportunity. Once again, my apologies. The local Blacktown Prems comp first versus second is playing right behind us, merely metres away, and it's very intense. Manly looking to break now. They've got options on both right and left. Ball across goal. Niski saves, and it is Manly offside, but the referee's going to allow it to play on. Niski having a great day so far today. I was at Spirit versus Mount Druitt only a few weeks ago, and I don't think he had the greatest nights, but he's recovered since, and he's having a great night today, or tonight. Tap, looking to go down the line, ball in the air. You'd think if Mount Druitt wanted to play long balls and put them in the air, you'd put Tap up front and just see what happens, put runners off the end of him. But there's a reason I'm not in the NPL systems, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why I play Sunday League. Yet to see Mount Druitt corner. I'd love to see how Manly mark Tap and Sfiligoy as well. Very strong in the air, very strong footballer. Mount Druitt win the foul. Apologies, I didn't actually catch that foul in real time, so I don't really know what's happened there. And it's a yellow card, so it must have been hefty. And it's a yellow card for Harry McCarthy, the Manly number 10. I believe a challenge on Vasulu. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. It's very hard to see from this side. Sam Powell on his left foot, looking to get a ball into the box. It'd be very interesting if he shot, wouldn't it? I doubt he will shoot. Tap. Getting what I wish for. It's not a corner, but he is up for a set piece, so that'll do. Bit of a floater into the back post. This is interesting. Awak up for it. Manly do clear their lines. Once again, Manly looking to counter. Ball into Burgess. It's going to cut on the inside. Loses his man. Awak does pull him back and does earn himself a very early yellow today. Very early yellow for the captain. He knows what Burgess can do on the ball. It's just the price he's willing to pay. Game respects game. Awak and Burgess shaking hands off screen there. O'Driscoll's restarting for Manly now. Love to see another big opportunity or two before the end of the half. You know what they say, 5 minutes on either side of the half is the most likely chance for a goal. How good's Popondetta Park just quietly? I love this place. I'd love to see it packed out, though. I'd love to see it packed out. and another life. Mount Druitt enter NPL 1 this season, go to the top of the table, and they're in the National Second Division before you know it. Awak, I think, sleeping on the field there. Same with O'Donoghue, to be honest. Both of them didn't really know it was coming to them. The ball's in no man's land there for a second. O'Driscoll looking to go long once again. Great pass in between the lines. And a loose touch there from Harry McCarthy. So this Philly boy clears. O'Donoghue finding himself with a bit of possession once again. Burgess down the left-hand side. I'd love to see him cut in and take a few defenders on. He can cause issues, and that's what he does. Thought about shooting. Someone's gone down. It's not Burgess, so it's play on. Manly flush it out to the right fullback. Jesse Perez. Apologies, I forgot his name there for 1 second. Chipman on the ball once again. I've said that a few times today. And once again, I'm saying this. O'Driscoll on the ball. Apologies. O'Donoghue on the ball. Looking to get a ball into the box. It's a great ball. Good luck getting one over Tap-Tap's head, though. You're going to have to get a real big floater in there. Burgess on the ball. It's a ball to Belcati. It's across the face of goal. It's going to be a goal kick, much to Manly's despair. That opportunity came out of nowhere. Once again, you watch the game, you might not watch much of Belcati, but if you watch Belcati, you'll watch a lot of the game. He covers some serious meters. He's in the fluoro boots for those watching at home. Not enough fluoro boots getting around at night-time NPL games, I reckon. A few more minutes left in this first half. Niski with the goal kick. Gibbs with a great touch. O'Donoghue onto it in no time. Looking for Lucas Meek once again, who struggled to get a bit of possession on the ball. He's making a lot of runs, but they're yet to find his feet. 2 more minutes, I'm hearing. Mount Druitt with a throw in deep in their own half down here on the right-hand side. Throw into Gibbs, looking for Lopez. It's going to be a great chase there. Juganovic does clear. Arguments of a foul, none given. Burgess makes his way down the left-hand side. Great challenge comes in from Chesnovsky. Once again, apologies if I'm getting that name wrong. Chipman on the ball. O'Donoghue. These 3 down the left-hand side for Manly have had a lot of touches today. Chesnovsky looks like he's in a rush to take the throw in for Mount Druitt. Referee overrules the lino here. Manly players definitely letting him know about it as well. I love NPL football. You can say what you want, but it's not short of passion. You can watch all the superstars you want around the world, but I guarantee there's more passion in this league than any you'll watch, maybe except for the Argentinian and Brazilian leagues. Oh, and there's a heavy foul from Chipman. Apologies, Chipman. Chippy Chips. Mount Druitt with a free kick on the halfway line. They're not getting tap-tapped into the box. Instead, he's taking it. Look, if this is Sunday League and you have a man the size of Tap-Tap, I dare say you get him right into the mixer. Instead, he's on the ball. One would argue the game's gone. Handball blown against Mount Druitt after winning the initial header. Manly looking to play early, looking to get a goal in this first half. Take it level into half-time, I should say. And that is half-time. Mount Druitt 1, Manly 0. Great first half of football. Welcome back to NPL New South Wales. Into the second half we go. Manly in the navy and red, Mount Druitt in the green and gold. Great first half here today. Things are looking to kick off in the second half. Manly, they're currently 3 points behind Sydney in 7th place. So Manly are in 10th. They're 3 points off Sydney, who are in 7th. Manly have quite the favourable goal difference. So they're going to need a few goals here to turn it around today. In Mount Druitt, they are in second last. They sit in 15th. They are on 9 points as it stands, not counting today, whatever points they gather from that. And they are 2 points from the bottom. So at the bottom we have Central Coast Mariners, their youth team. And then they are 4 points off next best. So they are 4 points off Western Sydney Wanderers in 14th. So a massive win today is needed for Mount Druitt to start climbing away from that bottom spot, which does result into relegation into NPL 2. Popondetta Park, in my opinion, does not belong in NPL 2. Manly to kick us off. Very action-packed first half. Very action-packed first half. And it's a very action-packed second half just to start off with. Aganovich on the ball for Manly. There's been no hefty spells of possession for either team, and I think that speaks more to Popondetta Park than it does to both teams' abilities to stay on the ball. But personally, for me, as a fan of football, I don't like possession. There's Burgess on the edge of the box looking to make something happen. Manly finding their way through once again, looking for Burgess. He's got his back to goal. McCarthy back to Burgess, and it is a Manly corner. I cannot emphasise enough. Tep is a man mountain. He is at the front post. This has to be a floater if Manly want to secure anything out of this. This will have to be a floater into that back post. Driscoll and Aganovich, the Manly centre-back pairing, making their way up the field. And Mount Druitt have sent Trajnovski up to the halfway line in hopes of a counter-attack. Bit of an in-swinger coming in here from O'Donoghue. Ball into the back post. Niski comes to claim, gets a good punch on it. Mount Druitt still got to clear their lines here. 3 Manly players. Mount Druitt managed to clear their lines and win the throw-in. Well dealt with. Very well dealt with. Jada Massarola has been a very busy man for Mount Druitt tonight. Massive boots to fill in the Mount Druitt midfield with the departure of Pedrinho, or at least the absence. I could be fed lies. Joey Gibbs on the ball there, taking it over the halfway line, looking for Lopez. Perez getting in between that. The ball flashed out to Trajnovski, looking for Hawak, who was incredible in the first half. He had an incredible opportunity as well. He shifted it onto his left foot after he broke down the right-hand side. And that ball, I thought it was 10 metres over the crossbar, and before you knew it, it hit the crossbar. I was in shock. Also, a friendly reminder, this is my second game commentating today, so bear with me if I get names wrong and if I stutter. Vassalou charging down there for Mount Druitt on the press. Sampow, misdirected header. The ball falls out to Vassalou, the goal scorer. Some would say it's a cross. I say it's a shot. Shout out to the young man. He's very lively today, very lively. Fine Sampow. Fun fact, has represented the Philippines at a junior international level. At least that's what it said on Transfer Market. Tep here, right-hand side of centre-back pairing for Mount Druitt. They've done a great job so far tonight. Driscoll looking to clear it. Experience in Ireland at Mansfield Town, who I believe, I may be corrected, Mansfield Town would either be in League 1, League 2, or at absolute worst, they would be in the National League. So experience there is incredible. Joey Gibbs with a bit of international experience himself. He's played in Iceland, beautiful ball in behind. And there's the international experience from Manly intercepting. Lovely car that's just pulled up behind O'Driscoll there. We're going to get a tap on. Meek gets a bit of a flick on with his right heel there. Bit of flair about it. Niski getting charged down. Oh! He's just nutmegged Meek. Mount Druitt are mucking around with it. He got very lucky there. He stuttered and then he regained his confidence mid-stutter and nutmegged the striker. Calls for a handball. Darcy Burgess says, no, I'm going to keep playing on. And he looks for a ball to the right-hand side and he can't find it. So Mount Druitt, they're looking to break down the left-hand side here. Goal scorer Vasilou. He's got Sam Powell running down the line. He's got options in the middle. He's got a free midfielder. And he looks that ball in behind to Lopez. Unfortunately, not on the same wavelength. That opportunity, Lopez, I find, from my observations, very good operator when the ball delivered into the chest. And back to goal, if you will. He's very good at receiving the ball back to goal. And the opportunities he creates often come from there, at least from what I've watched. And then you've got the likes of Joey Gibbs next to him, who played alongside the famous Dino Kresinger and Shinji Ono combination. Shout out to Dino Kresinger, probably the most underrated A-League striker of all time. Sfiligoy getting physical out the back there. Never fails to do so. Manly players claiming shoulder to shoulder. It is a foul on Sfiligoy. Apologies if I'm getting his name wrong. Sam Powell looking to move the ball up the field quickly. Mount Druitt just needing a few more options in the middle of the park here. They're finding no shortage of options down in the flanks in the wide areas. It'll be very interesting to see if they get another body or two down that middle lane. See if they can create much more. I reckon this game's got an absolute, an incredible goal in it. I reckon there's a bicycle kick coming and 40-yard volley, probably a scorpion kick. There's something in it. I can feel it in the air. It's the Mount Druitt air. If you're talking sport, if you're talking music, you're going to talk spectacular, you're going to talk Mount Druitt. Incredible ball in behind there, just quietly, from Rosello. And he finds Meek, he finds Burgess, back to Rosello. That's a lovely little triangle they've done. Rosello still in possession. Turns his defender inside out, upside down. And well recovered from Mount Druitt there. Rosello just getting a bit too excited for himself. I don't blame him. I would have got excited as well. Burgess on the ball once again. Well defended. They know he wants to turn on the outside there. There's a bit going on down here in the corner. Apologies, my view is slightly obstructed. And that is a Mount Druitt throw-in. They've recovered very well there. Manly starting very strong. Burgess on the left-hand side for Manly in the first half, but often finding a fair bit of possession down here on the right-hand side, just shifting into free space. One of those attacking midfielders that looks for space, doesn't look to be much of a robot. Wants to get on the ball as much as possible. And the areas he runs from, he lets you run into. Always a pleasure to watch. Gibbs getting a knock on there. Fair bit of physicality. And it's a foul for Manly. Foul on Oganovic against Lopez. Lopez got a big smile on his face. He's probably from Western Sydney if he's smiling. Got a smile on his face after what was said to him there. Well done to him. Love to see Mount Druitt do a bit more work with some of the local street culture movements, if you will. Whether it be hip-hop, whether it be other sporting codes, it'd be very cool. There's so much potential out here for this football club. I cannot emphasise enough. There's a boy raised in the Blue Mountains. This is my local top-tier footballing club, and I just think they've got so much potential. The way they play football is so raw and emotional, and I have no doubt that there are a lot of fans that could get on board with it. They want to attack as well. That's the number one thing about Mount Druitt. They want to attack. They're not fussed for possession. They sit second last in the table. They are 1-0 up. There are other teams in the world that when they are second last on the table and they desperately need a win, they will just want to hold as much possession as possible. Mount Druitt, on the other hand, want to win 3 or 4 or 5-0 because they know Manly have the capability to concede 3, 4 or 5-0. They're also well aware that Manly have the capability to score 5 or more goals. They've done so 4 times this season, making up most of their goals for. A quarter of Manly's games this season make up their goals for. That is simply incredible. Look, another cross/shot could be coming into the box here from Vasilou. Apologies if I'm getting his name wrong. Ball dinked into Joey Gibbs there against O'Driscoll, shoulder to shoulder. Darcy Burgess takes a lovely touchdown. Looking for Meek over Sfiligoy. Meek, what's he going to do? Sfiligoy comes crunching in, but it stays at Meek's feet. He's beaten Sfiligoy. He's looking for a ball back. And Niski claims. Manly struggling to get a strong shot off on target here today so far. That ball falling to Rosello, who's been quite lively here. A bit quiet in the first half, I found Rosello, but in the second half, he's getting on the ball a lot more. That's probably just because he's nearer to my commentator box in this half. Manly looks to be setting up with a 5-3-2 in defence. Very interesting, but now it's more so looking like a 4-4-1. I'm not an analyst. I'm trying my best. Ball in behind to Joey Gibbs there. Bilal Belkadi on his back. He's going to find Vasilou. Ooh! Lovely little strike. If that was crossbar down, I would have just dropped my microphone and just let you guys watch the celebration. That was simple. That was a great strike. Fair bit of venom on it. I think that's his third decent opportunity today. One's obviously ended up in the back of the net, I believe, early in the first half. It may not have been him, but early in the first half, he had a really good opportunity. A lot of action coming down the left-hand side, closest to the camera today in both halves. Rosello looking for Burgess. Ball's bouncing. Burgess keeps his footing. Would have been lovely to see him take a hit from 40 yards there. He's got nothing to lose. You're 1-0 down. Now Druitt clear their lines once again. You don't muck around in Western Sydney, man. There's none of that tiki-taka pep stuff, man. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. It's so simple. I love it. I love it. Football's not a complicated game. People make it overly complicated. If you see a ball and you think you're in trouble, kick it out. Deal with it, and, deal with it in the following minutes. Manly fullbacks looking to get up. As I've mentioned earlier a few times today, so you have the two Manly pivots, so Chipman and Belkadi, and then you have the two Manly centre-backs, which is Zaganovich and O'Driscoll, and then the fullbacks push up the pitch, which is Pires and O'Donoghue. It's a very interesting system they play. Great opportunity there for Manly. It's falling for anyone. Tep failing to fully clear his lines. Falls to Chipman. Burgess on the ball. It's found Rosello. Falls to Manly. Oh, low strike. Looking for the bottom corner on the left foot. That was on its way, dare I say. Keeper beaten too. Niski was definitely beaten there if that was on target. But it wasn't. So it's a goal kick from Mount Druitt. Just quietly, this is a very niche thing to mention, but I love how different coloured the kits are from each other. That's something that in football I always get frustrated at when kits look somewhat similar in colours. Niski with a goal kick over the halfway line. Looking for Awak. Ball over the top. Looking for Lopez and Awak. He's a strong man, Awak. Very strong man. Gone are the days of the tall, strengthy wingers. Maybe you get a few Adama Traores, dare I say, Awak, the Adama Traore of NPL 1 in New South Wales. Dare I say, an NPL across the country. Very strong, tall, fast winger. That's the beauty about NPL. All those footballing builds that, in typical positions at the top level you don't think of. You can find them here at NPL. Probably 6'2", Awak, playing on the right-hand side for Mount Druitt. And they've won a foul as well, just quietly. Deep into the Manly half on the right-hand side, about 2 metres from the edge of the 18-yard box, and around 2 metres from the sideline. Sam Power to stand over it. Let's see if he's got a bit of Tony Cruz about him. I think it was Tony Cruz against Sweden. He was in a very similar position, but over the other side of the field and swung it into that back post. Tep up for it. One would think you got to get him at the back post. It's going to fall to the back post. Lovely little back heel. It's in the mixer. Saved on the goal line there. And there's a Mount Druitt player down in the box. There's a bit going on, to be honest with you. There's a lot to cover. There is a Mount Druitt player down clutching at his face. I'm not sure who it is. Tempted to say Sfiligoy, but I don't think it is. It's not Joey Gibbs. I think it could. No, it's not Lopez. We're going through all the names. Actually, it might be Lopez. I think it's Lopez. Now, as for second half stats, in the last 5 games, I did my own research, ladies and gentlemen. So, Manly 4 in the last 5 games in the second half. This is second half strictly. They've scored 1 and they've conceded 4. Mount Druitt, in the second half of their last 5 games, has scored 1, and they have conceded 7. Not a very good run. However, in their last 5 games in the first half, they've conceded 8. But in this game, they've conceded 0 so far. So well done to them. And both teams coming off a bit of a lackluster run of form. Mountie with 5 losses in a row. And in their last 10 games, only 1 draw. But if there's one thing about Mount Druitt, it's called perseverance. That's the one thing about Mount Druitt you can guarantee. It's perseverance, it's strength, it's character. That goes across the board. That doesn't just extend to Mount Druitt Town Rangers. That extends to every single aspect and element of this area of Western Sydney. As for Manly, they've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 2 in their last 5. But most notably last week, thanks to a McAllister masterclass, they were handed a 6-0 loss to Sydney FC, who then obviously jumped the 3 points on them, as I've mentioned a few times today. Ball into Burgess. Awak tracking back from right wing here. He's going to try and cut on the inside. He's got options. Chipman from around 45 yards. Don't mind if I do. And Mount Druitt, they're looking to break now. 3, 4, 5 Manly bodies in front of him. They're going to find a bit of area in the width here. Just find Joey Gibbs' feet. And there you go. Mount Druitt tend to settle it down now. Vassalou on the ball. On the byline. And Mount Druitt settled the game down. They're faring very well without Pedrinho so far, if I say so myself. For those unaware, apparently he's left. I'm going to take the safe option. I'm going to say he's absent. That's what I'm going to say today. He's off sick. Shout out to Pedrinho. Hope you're well. Awak looking for a ball into Gibbs there. He's intercepted by Manly. A hefty challenge coming in. And the referee does call a foul. That is on Trajnovski. And there is a substitution about to be made, I believe. There's another pair of fluoro boots coming on. So for Manly, Chipman has left the field. And Peter Kekares has entered the field, and he is playing on the right-hand wing. I believe Kekares has played at Sydney Olympic amongst many other clubs, or a few other clubs, I should say. Boganovic, down to Perez. Sam Powell on the ball. Something's definitely happened there. They weren't the happiest of words. No love lost from the Manly players. I can't lie, they're looking directly at the commentator's box to monitor what I'm saying. So I'm going to be very careful and say that nothing foul occurred there to Vassalou. That was very intimidating for 1 second there, despite the fact I'm 6'4" and 120 kilos. I think his foot was stood on, if I'm being honest with you. It all happens very quickly. NPL, a much faster league than it lets off on video, in my opinion. There's a lot going on down here on the ground, a lot to keep up with. NPL really starting to come into its life now. There's a few fans saying a few things, getting passionate. I love this game. I love this league. It's simply incredible. So raw and passionate. It's what football's all about. It's such an authentic football experience coming down to Popondetta Park, or any NPL ground for that matter, but especially Popondetta Park. I believe, and I may stand corrected, but in that last run of Mount Druitt fixtures where they've only got 1 draw from the last 10 games, they actually dropped points to Arncliffe Aurora, who I believe are in the Bankstown or St. George local Prems comp, and they do have their own ultras, which is incredible. If you haven't already, do check out Arncliffe Aurora. And behind me there is a local Blacktown Prems game, I believe, for under 18. So if you can hear that in the background, bear with me. Not sure if it's first, second. And for those who did watch the first half, I believe the result was a 90th minute winner to second place in the Blacktown Prems comp. It was a very interesting game to watch unfold during half-time here. I'd love to see a bicycle later today, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'd love to see some flair. I think it's going to happen. Oh, there it is. See, we already got one. It's not on goal, but I'm telling you, I can feel it. Shout out Chicken Joe. Sampow looking to press up. And Perez gets a great touch on. Hefty challenge is going to come in, but he continues on. Vassalo doesn't connect with him or the ball. Early ball into the box. Filigoy, and it's into Niski. Dealt with very well by Mount Druitt there. Perez is rapid. That's the first time we've been able to see that today. Nearly 2 touches took him from halfway up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. He is rapid. I'd love to see more of that today from Manly. It's hard to tell whether Perez is playing right wing or right fullback now that Kekrez has come on and he's shifted a bit deeper than Perez. Sampow into Vassalo. He's got a lot of possession today and he's going to shift this one over the top to Lopez. Dangerous with the ball at his feet. He's a great dribbler of the ball. And that is an incredible pass. Down to Awak. Touch is going to escape him, but he is going to earn a corner for Mount Druitt. And yet, this is the greatest day of my life. Tap up for a corner. Get him on the penalty spot. Get around 5 of the Mount Druitt players in front of him and then just see what happens. I want to see him win a huge header. You know, Peter Crouch was also about the same height, but he ended up scoring a fair few bicycles and, you know, athletic endeavours. I'd love to see maybe one of those from Tep today. Crowding the goalkeeper here, Mount Druitt. It's very interesting. Normally you see when teams have such a player with such height, they normally crowd the players in front of him and let him try and roam at the back of them. At least that's what we do at Blacks and Redbacks. Ball into the box here. It's an in-swinger. Oh, it's almost made its way in. Off the crossbar it comes and out to Lopez. Gosh, we almost saw a goal from the corner. I think the last time I saw that was Charlie Adam from Blackpool. Great catch there, and the keeper's gone down. Is there anything in it? The referee says no. And Mount Druitt Town Rangers say, welcome to Mountie. No VAR in this league, but Levi K, he's definitely down, that's for sure. Great goalkeeper. Double substitution happening now for Mount Druitt. Let's see if I get this right first time, ladies and gentlemen. Stefan Giglio is definitely not coming onto the field because he's the reserve goalkeeper, so that's one of the subs definitely not coming on. Just watching on the replay there, Levi K of Manly was knocked into by his own player, I believe. To be fair, I'd still go down and I'd still call for it. I'm no better of a man. Shout out to you, Levi. You're doing a great job today. Now, double substitution for Mount Druitt. I eagerly await to see who they bring on. I think, personally, obviously I'm a commentator, not a pundit, but I'd love to see a bit, maybe some legs in the midfield. They have no problem with the ball out in the wide areas, but I feel like a runner or two down the middle here, in that middle channel, would be really pivotal for Mount Druitt in this second half. They've only created maybe 1 or 2 opportunities so far. Burgess on the ball. He's dropped a bit deeper now. And Mount Druitt, wow, their midfielding defensively has just been so sound today. So sound. Nothing has come through the middle. Nothing of substance, I should say. Manly have had a few opportunities where they've moved down the middle, but nothing of serious substance have come down the middle. And in doing so, the Mount Druitt centre-backs, they've had a good day as well. They've just had to deal with balls coming in from wide areas. Speaks to the work of some great defensive midfield action. Incredible dribbling there from Manly. Tap looking to get the ball down the line to Awak. Big challenge about to come in. I know. O'Driscoll parries the ball. Goal scorer. Lachlan Vassalo. Apologies if I'm getting that name wrong. He looks to be making his way off the field. That's only one player off, and there could be 2 coming on. And Thomas Lopez is making his way off the field as well. So essentially, Mount Druitt have replaced their left midfielder. So John Azar has come on to left midfield, and they've replaced their second fiddle striker with Abdullah Alayed. Apologies if I get his name wrong. No, that's Jordi Futele. Fulete, there we go. Apologies, it's hard to see the numbers from where I am today. Geordie with an early interception there. Geordie Filete up front for Mount Druitt now. Manly having only made one substitution so far. Around 20 minutes to go now. Very interesting to see if they make any more. Mount Druitt seem to be shifting into a 4-3-3 in attack, and then they quickly drop into that 4-4-2 in defence. Manly shifting the ball around now. Looking for Kekares. John Azar coming in for a challenge. Sampow choosing not to lunge in. And Jackson Brown being a busy man in midfield with Masarola. Lovely little touch there from Jackson Brown, I should say. I would never have had that composure at Blacks and Redbacks. Lovely ball in behind here to Awak, and he is pulled. Referee doesn't see it. The lino does call it, and it will be a yellow card. The cheese has come out, I believe, for O'Donoghue. Awak was not happy about that. I wouldn't have been either. Once again, purely from a spectator point of view, getting what I wanted, tap into the box. Just float it in, man, and let him run at it. That's my opinion. But knowing football, probably the shortest man on the field, Geordie Filete, will probably score a header. Plenty of bodies in the box. John Azar to take this one. On his right foot, in-swinger or out-swinger. Dare I say it's going to be an in-swinger. It is an in-swinger, or it's more a floater. It's into the back post to Filigoid. There's no one there to claim it. Levi K saves it. A great save, and it's a corner. A lot of Manly players, protesting whether it should be a corner. I thought Levi K saved it. You either claim the save or claim the corner. Now Druitt now with a fair few bodies into the box. Still 1-0. This would be a very big result for them. A huge result for them, actually. Once again, they're 4 points off Western Sydney Wanderers, who are sitting in front of them. So a massive result. Bring it back to touching distance today is needed. Ball into the back post. No one there. Joey Gibbs battling with O'Driscoll. That ball's going to go out for a throw-in. A lot of tireless work from the Mount Druitt midfield today. Massive shout out to them. They've made for great viewing, purely from a spectator's point of view. I know I'm commentating today, but purely from a spectator's point of view. Amount of work Masarola and Jackson Brown have put in. Simply incredible. And same with the Manly fullbacks, actually. The amount of work rate they've had to put in today is nothing short of incredible. Loose ball. Filete. Now Druitt keep possession. And Druitt actually having made 3 substitutions now, as they had to make an early substitution with the right fullback. Filete almost finding a way through. Aganovic clears his lines. Oh, and a missed kick. Local Sunday League out here in Mount Druitt. You'll see plenty of them. Don't worry about that. It's very rare you'll see it at Popondetta Park Mainfield, though. Darcy Burgess breaking away. He finds Kekares. Sampow choosing not to lunge in. Kekares looking to take him on. Shifts it onto his right foot. Gets the ball back across the box. And is met with a Mount Druitt defence. Looking for Joey Gibbs here. And he is going to go out for a Mount Druitt throw-in. Ball starting to skid a bit more as well. Another substitution about to be made. Manly about to bring on 3. Lucas Meek, Harry McCarthy and Rosello all making their way off the field. I believe Farah Coco is making his way onto the field. It's calling for the boys to have a bit more energy, whereas we know it around here in Western Sydney. Eno. I believe Tiger Kawano has made his way onto the field for Manly as well, as has Benjamin Coop. I believe Tiger Kawano, he actually played for, I could get this wrong, Larajana Kyoto in Japan. and then made his way to Bankstown Berries. Very interesting stuff. He played in the 5th tier of Japan. And a friend of mine, Joey Coletti, also did that, then returned to the A-League. So it just shows the 5th tier of Japanese football is not that far off the top tier of Australian football. We've got a bit of work to do. I haven't seen much of Farakoko for Manly, for being honest with you, so I'm very excited to see what he does. He's floating into that 10 position now. Manly, out of all their starting attackers, choosing to keep Darcy Burgess on, I believe. And he's floated into a deeper position. O'Donoghue's made his way into the box. Not dealt with by Mount Druitt yet. Awak getting his body in front of the ball. As I mentioned earlier, basically like an Adama Traore, a big, strong, fast winger. Look at that. That is incredible work from Awak. And it's going to be a yellow card for O'Driscoll from Manly there. Both the left-hand side of the Manly defence, the left centre-back and the left back, both found themselves with a bit of cheese. That was a hefty challenge in Awak. He definitely didn't miss him, that's for sure. Good on O'Driscoll getting in the Western Sydney spirit. Bit of a hit. Panther Park, that type of hit would be very welcome. $15 minutes left now. Towards the 90, still 1-0. I'd love to see Mount Druitt find another goal in here somewhere. I'd also love to see Manly press a bit more. See, for me as a commentator, I'm from Western Sydney. This is my local area. I love seeing Mount Druitt in all shapes and forms, show some perseverance and character. That's what they're doing tonight after losing their best player. Once again, just a rumour though. I can't emphasise that enough. Mark Stav, if you're listening, just a rumour. Follette committing a foul on the edge of the box there. Mount Druitt looking to get a fair few bodies behind the box as we head deep into the second half. Half an hour gone so far. Burgess dropping into a very deep-lying playmaking role. One-eye play at Blacks and Redbacks myself, and John Azar's definitely not going to miss Kekeres there. He wanted to play on, though. Didn't find himself a piece of cheese, though, so very tactical foul. Well done to him. Kekeres on the ball, looking for Coco. Does find him. Hefty challenge coming in from Masarola there. He's lost a shin pad or a boot. Someone's lost a boot. Joey Gibbs breaks down the line, looking for Follette, and he wins the corner. No, he doesn't. It's going to be a goal kick that must have come off him as O'Driscoll cleared it. There was no complaints from the man himself. Aganovic from Manly on the ball now. O'Driscoll. Once again, him and Joey Gibbs with multiple years of experience in foreign land. Joey Gibbs in Iceland. I believe Chinese Taipei as well. O'Driscoll, England, Ireland, New Zealand. Apologies. Ball. Sampow meets it. John Azar to get on the end of it. Finds Sampow. Mount Druitt looking to play out. It's Filigoy looking to clear his lines. Falls to Burgess. John Azar's going to maintain possession for Mount Druitt here. Burgess on his case. He's done an interesting skill move there. He kind of stood on the ball and let it roll around. I haven't seen that one before. A few challenges flying in now. Lovely. Welcome to Popondetta Park. This is what I came for. I know I'm commentating, but I'm also a spectator. I'd love to see a bit more challenges, you know. Aganovic on the ball. It's going to fall to Awak. He's been heavily fouled a bit today. Do you blame Manly, though? Every time he's on the ball, there seems to be opportunities arising. Cannot emphasise enough, I did not do his shot in the first half enough justice. He cut off down the right-hand side, chopped in onto his left foot, and it was on its way. It's Filigoy up against Benjamin Coop there. He's just come onto the field, so for those who are just tuning into the end of this stream, essentially that front four you can see from Manly. Kekeres, Coco, I believe it's pronounced Kawano and Coop are all fresh substitutes. And then you also, Darcy Burgess, basically the only one from the starting 11, and he's dropped into a deep-line playmaking role. Coco on the ball now. Mount Druitt, 3 defenders in front of him, looking to find that ball in behind to a runner. He's going to look to go down the byline now, looks to get a cross into the box. Isn't able to do so. ball into Joey Gibbs' feet. Good luck getting it off him. As I mentioned, John Azar now down the line, and he just does not get the connection he wanted onto it. I'd love to see... I remember once, actually, in the AFL, I know that's a different code, but Gary Ablett had a monitor on his ankle, and he covered like almost 30 kilometres or something incredible. I'd love to see how much metres Caleb Jackson-Brown has covered today. Kawano down, gets back up, ball into Belcaddy. Oh, that ball found Coco's feet. That would have been a very interesting sequence to watch unfold. But instead, it's a Niski goal kick. Time we'll have. There hasn't been too many stoppages in this second half. Once again, both teams in their last 5 games have only scored 1 goal in the second half. So if you're expecting a goal, good luck. But me, personally, I'm expecting a goal because I can feel it. The ball out to John Azar here. What's he going to do? He's looking to cut inside, gets it onto his right foot into the back post. You could just tell he knew what he wanted to do, and I like that about a footballer, you know. If you can, just a fair bit of intention in what he wanted to do there. Would have been lovely to see that curl into the top right-hand corner from where I'm standing. Be a massive result for Mount Druitt tonight. It'll be a massive result for Mount Druitt. And Manly continue to just be the team you cannot read. You cannot get a read on Manly United this year. It is incredible. And where's the goalkeeper? Oh, I thought Aganovich was going to roll that one into his own net. Levi K was in his blind spot. But lucky he checked his blind spot before he received the ball. O'Driscoll making his way up the field. Burgess in that deep-lying 6 role. Looking to play forward. All the Manly substitutes in the front 4. Very top-heavy substitution roles. Ganovich going to roll it out the back to K. Driscoll on the ball. Manly shifting it down on that left-hand side to their left fullback, O'Donoghue. Driscoll on the ball once again. It's going to shift it out. Levi K. Mount Druitt's starting to get a bit more of a press on now, and they're starting to shift a bit more. Once again, the Mount Druitt midfielders, look at that. That is simply incredible. The work rate of their central midfielders today is nuts. And the opportunity is actually going to fall for him. Instead, he's called offside. Caleb Jackson-Brown, the work rate in him is simply incredible. If he had FIFA cards, dare I say it'd be a silver card to start with, but he'd actually have a high work rate. Mount Druitt also yet to get a win at home this season. So there's 0 wins, 2 draws and 7 losses. Whereas Manly's away form is actually not too bad. 7 games, it's been 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses away from home. That's quite a good away record, all things considered, especially in the NPL where some grounds they're a bit hostile to go to. And Mount Druitt only scoring 14 goals so far this season. Well, we can take that up to 15, and they've conceded 46 going into this game, and they're still at 46. Tep is huge. That is simply another observation whilst just watching the field. Jackson-Brown winning the header there into Awak. A lovely little touchdown, looking for that ball in behind to Folletti, who does not have the same height as Tep. So I think they're going to have to play feet to him, but that's just my raw thoughts there. John Azar winning the ball in a good position. Is that a handball? Not sure. Referee doesn't call it, and Coco gets back. He does very well to win the ball, and off he goes down the middle there, running down that middle lane. Coop in possession now. Manly breaking down that left-hand side, and nothing comes of it. Be very interesting to see if Mount Druitt bring a substitution or 2 on. And they win a throw-in very high up their own half. Just under 10 minutes left now. It's going to get spicy. This is what happens at the end of football games in Western Sydney. Trust me, I can tell you, I've lived it, I've loved it, I've breathed it. It's going to get spicy, whether you like it or not. Welcome to NPL football in Mount Druitt at Popondetta Park. Burgess winning the header there. Mount Druitt just lacking a bit of go forward at the moment. Not really a number 9, and Kawano in behind. It's very well dealt with in Mount Druitt. They're dealing with their lines very well today at the back there. Any threats in behind have been promptly dealt with. Centre-backs have had a great day. Both full-backs have had a great day. And the defensive midfields have had exceptional days. Exceptional day, I should say, both of them. Out to Perez here at full-back. We can play down the line. Azar coming across to Kekerez. Azar from Mount Druitt. Kekerez from Manly, the number 7. A few step-overs. Lovely. Falls to Coco on the edge of the box. Chooses to maintain possession. Looking for Kekerez. There's 2 Manly players in the box there. Looks to get that one low, and it's straight into Niski's basket. Deals with that very well. Niski's had a great game so far today. Nearly minutes left. I do not have a timer with me. I'm going off vibe and vibe alone. Under 5 now, I've just heard from my dear friend in the commentary box with me. Not sure how much injury time will be left. Dare I say, not too much. Awak looking to get on the ball there. O'Driscoll. Folletti with a very thankless job when you're 1-0 up looking for a result. If you're a striker and you're playing in a team that is 1-0 up desperately looking for a win at home, what you've got to do is you've just got to chase. That's all you've got to do. You've got to set your defensive structure from the top, and then you've got to chase anything that you think is a sniff. And then if you don't get there, good luck. Turn around and get back. Calls for a foul there on Manly, on O'Donoghue from Manly there, and none called. A lot of calls around Mount Druitt, the Mount Druitt team, for a lot of tracking back, and Folletti does track back from second-hand striker there. It's going to fall to Joey Gibbs, and I dare I say he's been looking for a run now. Folletti finds the ball here. He's going to try and get around Perez. And unfortunately, he is unable to, because that would have been a great battle. Manly in possession. Around 5 minutes left. That's not accounting for injury time. Oh my gosh. This Philly guy with a header that went in behind, and Kawano just sniffing around for an opportunity there. That came out of nowhere. I thought that would have been dealt with, to be honest with you. Great strikers do that, though. That's what we call poaching. Just in those areas, just waiting for anything. They don't care about the glitz and glamours. All they care about is whether they get 3 points or not. Niski to take the goal kick. Up it comes. If you would ask me who my favourite poacher striker is, I'd probably tell you Mark Viduka, to be honest. But after that, I'd probably tell you about the guy called Jimmy Jam. Niski fails to clear it. And Kawano, once again, just sniffing around for those opportunities. He's very lucky Kawano took his eye off the ball there for a second. Kekerez with a great ball into the box, and Tep dealing with it. Obviously with that aerial threat he has in both defence and attack. Manly looking to create an opportunity, cutting on the inside. O'Driscoll, they've got bodies forward now. They've found a gap to O'Donoghue on the left. Who can get a ball in, and Folletti from the left-hand side of striker all the way down to right back. Mount Druitt, they are desperate for 3 points here tonight. They are absolutely desperate, and they're doing everything in their power to get those 3 points. Manly are very well aware after their loss to Sydney FC last week, and the position they sit in the table, where there's multiple teams floating around within 1 to 5 points. They need points. They can't afford to drop points to teams below them, that's for sure. 2 hands up. That normally means back post in Sunday League. Not sure what that means in NPL. It is into the front post, and Tep deals with it very well. Bouncing ball. Mount Druitt looking to clear their lines. And here's a Mount Druitt throw in deep in their own half. This can always be an issue. Nearly a few minutes left. It'll be very interesting to see if Manly carve out another opportunity, or if Mount Druitt can top it off and get a 2-0 win. Now Druitt looking to make another substitution. Throw in. Going to go down the line. Jackson Brown up for it. Forced the Burgess from Manly. He's met with a bit of defensive press. Now Druitt losing a bit of their structure there going forward. Manly have got numbers down this right-hand side now. Kawano on the ball, number 13 for Manly. As I mentioned, played in the 5th tier of Japanese football, which sounds a lot lower than it actually is. It's quite a high tier of football, I believe. All the way down to the 5th tier, they are professional in Japan, if not highly paid semi-professionals. Ooh, professionals, there we go. Prime example, Joe Coletti left the A-League, went and played in the 5th tier of Japanese football and went straight back into the A-League. Just shows that the level of football it is over there. Except for Kawano, he's had a different path. He signed for Bankstown Berries. This could be the last decent opportunity of the game for Manly. It's going to be an in-swinger. Into the back post it comes. Niski out to claim. Force to Kawano, out to Belcati. And he decides to take it on, and it's going to be a one-on-one ball with Jackson Brown with no one in front of him. And Belcati manages to track back, and his body's on the floor. It looks like a WWE Royal Rumble. There's men everywhere. I have no idea how that occurred. And Mount Druitt about to make a substitution. Jackson Brown, as I've mentioned, 6 minutes. 6 minutes more. 6 minutes more. Once again, I've not got a timer. I'm just going off vibe and vibe alone, and 6 minutes is probably right. Awak, what a game he's had today. Simply incredible. You don't get tall, strong, fast wingers anymore, do you? You get little wingers, you do all the step overs and all that. No, Awak's not about that, man. He'll go straight to goal. He don't care. Shout out to him. What a winger he is to watch. I believe Goggins Barrett is making his way onto the field. And that would be correct. There is a Manly player down in the box. John Azar to clear the Mount Druitt lines. It is a bit of a floater up in the air, a bit of backspin on it too. Darcy Burgess struggles to take it down. Goggins Barrett on his case. Very interesting. Burgess opts not to play back to his goalkeeper. Now he does. Mount Druitt keeping a very low block and keeping a backline of around 7 here off camera. As you'll see now as the camera switches. John Azar up for the header. It's a loose ball into the midfield. There's no one there. Coco takes possession. Mount Druitt getting drawn out of fit here now. Some tired legs out there. Kekeres. I was about to say too far to think about it, but it wasn't for Kekeres. It wasn't on target, though. Burgess with a floater into the back post. Goggins Barrett. Joey Gibbs looking to get around his man. He does so well. Folletti in front of him. He's just got to let that ball go. Folletti's got the legs. Very interesting. Him versus Belcati. He's looking to take Belcati down to the byline. Very interesting stuff, and he's argued he's pushed down. The referee says, no, get up. Folletti not happy with that decision. Belcati has had an incredible game for Manly today. A simply incredible game. He's kept this in this game. He's kept Manly in this game. He's been instrumental in breaking down those few Mount Druitt counter-attacks they've had today. Great tackle from John Azar there on Kekeres, and he's looking for a man in front of him, and all he's got is Folletti, who's in between the two centre-backs. John Azar looking to take it. He's calling for Folletti to come in short, and Folletti is in short. He's found himself in behind. He's called offside. Bit of an offside trap there. That's an old-fashioned one. We don't see the offside trap often enough. I'd love to see a bit more of it. Let's make things more exciting. There's no VAR here. I hope there's never VAR on NPL if I'm to be raw and transparent with you. I hope we never see that day. Mark Stav, if you're listening. Coco plays it down the line. Kekeres looking to get a ball into the box. Manly with the last opportunity. John Azar keeps it from going out for a corner. And Folletti's on his feet now. Aganovic, that's a K. He's playing very high up. The Manly goalkeeper. Lovely goalkeeper kit he's got on there. Aganovic on the ball. Burgess picking up the ball here deep into the Mount Druitt half. Finds Pires. Pires to get a ball into the box. It's low. Oh, and almost again. Filigoy. Almost sending it into his own net. He's almost done that twice already today. That would have been a hat-trick of own goals. That definitely would have been something to watch. Manly have got a corner. Will they send the goalkeeper up? I reckon they should, but I'm merely a commentator. Few minutes left here. Maybe one or two decent opportunities. Is it going to be an in-swinger or an out-swinger? And so Donahue on the ball. So what does that mean? It's going to be an in-swinger, ladies and gentlemen. Ball into the box. It's in the mixer. Niski misses it. It's a mess at the back there for O'Driscoll. There's a Mount Druitt player down. O'Driscoll dinks it into the back. Tap-taps there on the goal line. Mount Druitt calling for a foul. Pires on the left foot, and Niski saves. Once again, it looks like a Royal Rumble out here at Popondetta Park. But did I expect any different? No, I did not. Medical attention has been called out now for the Mount Druitt player on the ground. Niski not happy about it. It's been an incredible game so far. I've loved every minute of commentating it. Once again, for those listening, if you've made it this far, this is my second game of commentary, so thank you for bearing with me. Be about a minute or two left now in extra time. It'll be very interesting to see if there's any more goals in this fixture. I've got some stats I'll read out after full time because I don't want to give a commentator's curse. There's some very interesting stats that this result will turn around. Niski calling for Mount Druitt players to get up the field. You don't really see the 6-second rule applied to goalkeepers much, do you? However, it's always on FIFA on the screen, the 6 seconds. Driscoll taking the throw in for Manly. They look desperately looking for something to happen. Folletti's been a problem since he come on. Definitely getting into the pockets of all the Manly players. Just trying to find those little channels in and around that Manly defence now that they're pushing up, trying to get a result here today. Throw in now for Mount Druitt. Playing into the midfield. Folletti once again. He's had a busy day since he's come on. Mount Druitt simply just happy to get it up to the Manly goalkeeper at this point. Long ball forward for Manly United. There's many men forward for him. And welcome to Mount Druitt. There's a lot of spectators doing their own whistles for the full time. And I'm as gullible as anyone. I'm falling for it. And Folletti could be on the end of a good ball here. He's found his way onto the end of a good ball. Referee says no foul, tells him to get up once again. He said that a few times to him today, and the game's about to open up. John Azar's got some serious work to do here to cover the left-hand side. Kekeres versus John Azar, both the substitutes. John Azar once again coming out on top. He's done a great job of marking Kekeres. Looking for a ball in behind. John Azar makes a crucial tackle. An incredible tackle, and he goes again. Ball into the back post. Falls to Darcy Burgess on the edge of the box. And Mount Druitt just will not say quit. And that is full time, ladies and gentlemen. Mount Druitt, congratulations. Their first win in over 10 games, and you can see how much it means to the players there, especially the back line. Simply incredible result for them. They did lose Pedrinho this week, and they've come out and got a 1-0 loss straight off the 1-0 win straight off the back of it. Incredible. That's their first win at home this season. I repeat, that is their first win at home this season. And that will take them within 1 point of Western Sydney Wanderers youth and takes them 5 points off Central Coast Mariners. Manly, however, they desperately needed the 3 points to keep themselves within touching distance of 7th. However, Sydney still sit in 7th, 3 points off Manly with multiple other teams and their results await. Incredible result from Mount Druitt. And for those who watched the full 90 minutes, thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.